Greeting, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Asian Vision Dialogue. Meet me, Sothearoth, the host of today's program. So today's discussion is about the implications of the US-Sino rivalry in the Indo-Pacific region. And we have the guest speaker today, Dr. Kosal, the Associate Professor of Political Science at the Brooklyn College, the City University of New York, and he is the advisor of the Asian Vision Institute, AVI. So greeting, Dr. Kosal.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Sothearoth, for having me in your talk show.
So thank you, Dr. Kosal. So, Dr. Kosal, we have come to the realizations that the rivalry between the US and China has become reality in the international politics. And the recent communication between the two superpowers has become much more intense as well. So in this regard, could you please provide your assessment of the current communication and also the current relation between the two superpowers, especially their involvement in the Indo-Pacific region?
The rivalry between the United States and China has reached a comprehensive level in all fields, from the military, economic to social-cultural sector. Geopolitically, we can see that not just on the global stage, the war in Ukraine, but China and the United States also competing in the Indo-Pacific region down to the sub-Mekong region. But this type of competition we don't see a clear domination by one superpower, right? So United States may dominate the world in terms of military power, but China is an economic superpower. And so that I think that's sort of the hierarchical structure that we're dealing with. The global competition is still in transition, so wait and see.
So, Dr. Kosal, in relation to the Russia-Ukraine war, do you think that the war or the conflict has actually contributed to the intensifications of the relation between the US and China as well?
It's clearly adding fuel to the already intensified competition between the United States and China on a global stage. President Joe Biden, well before he became the President of the United States, wrote an important piece, and he laid out that the 21st century will be a competition between autocrats and democratic systems. The United States is the leader of democracy, and China is the leader of authoritarian state. So the fact that China throws weight in supporting Russia and called Sino-Russian relations partnership without limits, clearly that China is standing on the side of Russia against the West. So clearly this would add to this ideological competition between the United States and China-led group of authoritarian regimes.
So thank you, Dr. Kosal. So now let's move to another sensitive issue. It's about the Taiwan Strait. Recently, we've known that there's a lot of contradictory and forceful exchange message between the two superpowers. So what is the status of the Taiwan issue? And do you think that the US really aims for like an independence of the Taiwans? And we've known that China will never be stand still. So what happened to the world, and especially like the political international order and also like the economic order?
Yeah, that is a very important issue because Taiwan is not Ukraine. Taiwan is a different situation. At least 100 independent states recognize one China policy, and the United States has recognized the one China policy, but maintain strategic ambiguity in a sense that allow Taiwanese people to make their own decision and make sure that China will not use force against Taiwan. But what's interesting to observe recently is that the United States, again, going back to my earlier point, the United States want to draw a line. This is the battle between two types of governance. One is democracy, the other is autocracy. So United States, by foreign policy practice, is also to demonstrate identity. United States want to redefine itself as the leader of democracy, and Taiwan is one of the vibrant democracy in Asia and in fact in the world. And so that, number one, to want to send signal to other democracy that the United States is willing to use force to defend democracy. Secondly, want to send a strong message to the regional state that the United States willing to back up its word with action, with military force, to stand up to China. I think this is part of broad strategic strategy of the United States to contain China in the region. Just imagine If Taiwan fall into China's, become part of mainland China, China would become a superpower, right? Taiwan is not an insignificant island nation. It is very powerful economically and militarily as well, right? So this is part of China's broader strategic strategy to contain China.
So, in your opinion, so in the current world, what is a reality of the polarities of the international system? Is it a unipolarity, a bipolarity, or a multipolarity?
To describe the international system today in terms of unipolarity or bipolarity or multipolarity, I think it is too simplistic. The best example of bipolarity was during the Cold War, right, between the Soviet Union and the United States. There are two polarities, clearly, right, two superpower, two economic structure. Today, you don't have the kind of superstructure. What you're seeing, in my view, is a world of dual hierarchy. It's more hierarchical in a sense that one hierarchy is dominated by the United States in terms of the security military sector. The United States remain the dominant military power. Economically, China has shifted to become the world's economic superpower. We are seeing in the region, especially in Asia, that many countries in Asia now are integrated into China-led economic order, whether you will or not. So the infrastructure, Chinese investment. So you're seeing this trend that in terms of economic sphere, China is leading the way. But the United States remains the offshore balancer in terms of providing security guarantee to middle power, small power in Asia. Those who fear the rise of China, looking toward the United States as the military power to kind of hedge against China aggression down the road. Vietnam, for example, is a typical example of how a middle power in Asia want to have economic relation with China, but at the same time look up to the United States as a security guarantor, just in case down the road China will threaten Vietnam.
Okay, so for your recommendation for the US, China, and other nations, for example, like the small state, how should they do or how should they act in order to avoid the tension in the region? Because as you know that this year we have two more sensitive issues, the Taiwan Strait and the Russian-Ukraine war, that is add on to the Myanmar case and the South China Sea case in the Asian region. So what should they do or what should they avoid in order to soften or avoid from getting intense conflict with each other?
One of the most effective strategies that I have already seen secondary state, middle power state have been doing is to basically to not get bogged down into a sensitive issue like Taiwan-China relation or the conflict in Ukraine between Russia and Ukraine. India is doing a very good job of that, right? Turkey is doing a very good job of that. South Korea is doing a good job of that. And so going back to my earlier point that the world become more hierarchical, become more complex. And some people use the term multiplex world, and I would agree with that. And so within this hierarchical structure in which no superpower dominates, so middle power and small power have a lot of leeway. So you could have many relational circles in different spheres, let's say in the economic sphere. You could have good economic relation with Japan without having to get involved with a more sensitive issue between Taiwan and China. So small states have a lot more option now. So within this dual hierarchical order, small and middle power have more bargaining. There's more space for bargaining, more space for conducting relations. Become more. You can think about relationship in terms of one. You can have special relationship with China, but you can also have another types of transactional relationship with other countries as well. So my point is that within this sort of hierarchical structure, small and middle power have more space to maneuver, more space to bargain, more space to conduct transactional relation with other states. So the world become more multiplex, if you will. There's different types of relational circle. Let's say one group, this one circle, you can have transactional relation. Another relational circle, you can have special relation, right? So that's why you hear the terms partnership without limit, right? Ironclad alliance or friendship, comprehensive. All the terminology is all about different types of relation that you can have within this fluid but dual hierarchical order.
Okay. So thank you, Dr. Kosal, for very precise and comprehensive analysis on the question that I posed. So, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the episode about the implication of the US-Sino rivalry in the Indo-Pacific region has now come to an end. Thank you for watching.